Repic Limited is a not-for-profit company established in 2004. It employs 16 people and is based in Bury, Greater Manchester. It was set up by major electrical and electronic product manufacturers to discharge their obligations under specific environmental regulations.
Repic provides a service for all of our producer members in that we collect or have collections of waste electrical and electronic equipment from collection sites all around the UK, and we arrange for those to be treated and recycled and recovered properly. Much of the WEEE that is collected in the UK goes through a process that is a modern version of panning for gold, insofar as the old electrical items tend to be shredded down to various sizes and then separated, often using what is called a water table, which is similar to the old sieve where you would pan for gold. The heavier items going to a different part of the process than the lighter items.
Well, the plant you can see behind me today, when we're looking at the waste hierarchy, is all to do with the recycling recovery of both waste electrical equipment from consumers and from businesses. We'll take the equipment in, we then look at removing all the hazardous components, we then granulate that equipment down, which liberates the materials from one another, and we use a range of different sorting technologies which look at the different properties of that material to separate it into different things. So it might consider the shape, it might consider the weight or the density, it might consider whether it's magnetic, conductive, or what chemical properties it might have. And from that we can take apart all these different materials. Some materials are then finished, other materials will go on to further processes where we can refine them down to even single polymers. The start of our process, the start of the waste hierarchy, is really reduce and reuse, and that's where it starts here. And the first thing we do is we tag that into our system, which this gentleman's doing behind me, so we can track that asset all the way through our system and the customer or client knows exactly what's going on. Second stage will be then looking at deleting all the information on that laptop, computer or other media device to make sure that it's completely data safe. At that stage we'll ascertain whether it can be resold, redeployed within the business which it came from, or indeed if it's slightly too old for that, we can recover the memory, the CPU, other highly valuable components which we can cannibalise for other reuse. And alternatively after that, we then look at the recycling where the material, the end of the life product at that stage, if you will go over to our WEEE processing line, and at that stage it's looking for materials recovery.
Repic is the largest WEEE waste electrical and electronic equipment producer compliance scheme in the UK.
I think there are two things that differentiate us from our competitors. The first one is our scale. Repic is around about 50% market share in terms of the electrical and electronic equipment placed on the market by our members, and in terms of the WEEE that we collect. So scale is certainly an important factor. And the second one is it's our structure. As a non-profit making organisation, we're driven very much by the environmental needs and credentials of our members, and we have a board of 8 member representatives from these major companies that sit and help direct our business activities.
As environmental awareness has improved, consumers' expectations have changed, the expectation of people in business has changed, because ultimately businesses are made up of people who are also concerned about the environment. And I suppose the third element is the waste industry has also changed and now is in a position where it has the capacity and also the technology to deal with waste that has been separated.
Repic's WEEE members represent approximately half by weight of all electrical and electronic products sold in the UK every year. It provides compliance solutions to companies of all sizes and for all categories of household and non-household WEEE.
Repic has one key objective, and that is to provide maximum compliance for our members at a competitive price that is consistent with excellent environmental performance. That was the mission statement when the company was formed, and it stood the test of time today.
To date, they have financed the collection and recycling of over 1.1 million tonnes of electrical waste.
Repic's activities cover all areas of the UK. We collect WEEE from as far as the Scilly Isles to the Outer Hebrides, west into West Wales and out as far east as Norwich, so every area of the UK. Since the regulations began, we financed now the collection and recycling of well over 1 million tonnes of end-of-life electrical products.
Their aim is to provide compliance solutions where producers pay the true cost for compliance. Local authorities and other collectors get a fair deal for collecting WEEE. the best is done for the environment, and WEEE is recycled and recorded through the official system, assisting the UK in meeting its statutory targets.
The EU has recently recast the directive, which is a revision of the original directive, and within that there are increased collection targets, there are increases in terms of the amount that has to be recycled and the types of product that have to be recycled. These are all challenging, but WEEE can be viewed not just as waste electrical and electronic equipment. WEEE can also be viewed as WEEE in terms of world, environment, economy and employment. And if we get more and more recycled and we internalise that production in a closed loop activity, that is a benefit to all, and it has to be the right way to go.
Repic operate to best environmental practices, using service providers who can demonstrate that they can meet the required standards of operational and environmental performance, ensuring that their carbon footprint is kept to a minimum, and robust audit trails are in place.
Green and environmental awareness now, it's no longer a buzzword, it's a given, certainly in the industries where we operate. Most of the big companies build it into their decision-making process, just as they do with financial considerations, and that's exactly how we do it at Repic. The green considerations and the environment are at the heart of every decision that we make.
Compliance solutions are provided through working with local authority partners, waste companies, retailers, charities, reuse organisations and treatment partners to recycle and recover WEEE.
The new recast will impact on businesses, producers and also on the consumer in the sense that we have an increased target of collection. At the moment, it's not clear whether the collection rates are low or whether in fact the data collection rates are low. So we are probably as a country collecting a lot more WEEE than we think, but simply not capturing it through the routes. As with all of these activities and pieces of legislation, the major corporations are fully on board with what happens, and it tends to be the smaller businesses that need to be brought more into the loop. So hopefully, the more we can promote this activity, the more that we can deliver benefits to people's bottom line by recycling more product, the more it will be taken on board.
Repic's vision is to create a UK WEEE recycling system which is truly closed loop, where secondary materials from WEEE are recycled into new products, resulting in environmental, economic and social well-being.